It was an exciting day on the island of Sodor. All the engines were excited because today a group of train spotters had been called to the island of Sodor to admire Sir Topham Hatt's engines. There were groups everywhere on the island, and the engines found themselves being videoed and recorded. Ooh, an E2 and a Class 07. What remarkable shunters. Hello. And a big black 5 too. We've got to have him on our notes. One afternoon, Emily chuffed into Lower Titmouth Station. Oliver was there. Next to the platform were a group of train spotters admiring both Oliver and his brake van Toad. They took his picture from so many angles that Oliver didn't know which way to look. Such a remarkable engine, they chanted. Oliver looked over to Emily. This is wonderful, isn't it? He asked. Emily wasn't sure. She liked pictures, but found them too overwhelming. I'm honestly not sure, she puffed. I mean, I like them, but it seems to be too much. No offense to the photographers. Oliver chuckled. Oh, I know how that feels, he said. But it is important to know that there are people who admire and look up to us, such as when we do a really useful job. Emily let out a small grin. Oliver gave a wink as he puffed away. Emily let out a sigh. Maybe they will like me if I did a really useful job, she thought to herself. Meanwhile, at the smelter's yard, things were looking grim for Diesel, Arry, and Bert. This is so atrocious, sneered Diesel. Why should those impractical and unbearable Stamies be given so much attention by those so-called train spotters? And yet, we Diesels play second fiddle to that. No one even wants our photos taken. Arry and Bert murmured in agreement. Yes, so true, added Arry. Those Steamies are so overrated, grumbled Bert. Them always rushing about, calling, we want Steamies, we want Steamies. It's just despicable. I disagree with everything you said a familiar voice. It was Mavis. Oh, what would you know, Mavis? Snapped Diesel. You're a Diesel like us. Yes, stated Mavis, and that unlike you three, I understand the importance of steam engines on this railway. Such as, grumbled the twins. Steamies, continued Mavis, are our mentors. They helped us to run on these rails. We should be treating them with the utmost respect they deserve. Oh, your generator is in a twist, sniffed Diesel rudely. I'll have you know, we are more modern and capable of handling work unlike those useless teapots will ever do. Mavis just scowled. Just take your fuel and leave me at peace, sniffed Mavis, and she rolled away. This made Diesel, Arry, and Bert cross. Maybe we should find something that'll intrigue those train spotters, suggested Arry. That way, added Bert, they'll think we're more stronger and useful than those Steamies, interrupted Diesel. Brilliant! And of course I am, added Arry. I started this, argued Bert. No, you didn't. The next day, Emily puffed into Knapford Station. Sir Topham Hatt was there, advising the station master. Emily blew her whistle. That grabbed his attention. Excuse me, sir, asked Emily sweetly. Is there any other work I should do on the main line? Sorry, Emily, said Sir Topham Hatt. but Gordon, Henry, and Murdoch are doing very well on the main line. Emily looked at her buffers. However, continued Sir Tom, there's a special tourist train with more delighted train spotters that needs to go to the other side to the mainland. Since you're not busy, I would like you to take them. Oh, yes, sir, said a delightful Emily, and she puffed away. Later, Diesel, Arry, and Bert were lurking in the yards. Keep your eyes peeled, boys, said Diesel. There has to be work around here somewhere. Work that we could steal from the Stamies, agreed Bert. Just then they saw the yard manager. He was pacing back and forth, holding the schedule. Oh, dearie me, he sighed. Murdoch is helping Henry out. We've got no one to take this heavy train to the mainland. It was then that Diesel hatched a scheme. We can do it, sir, he called out. The yard manager looked up to them and was unsure. We're very strong Diesels, Arry urged. The manager shrugged his arms. Well, I don't see why not. Diesel and the others grinned. Now's our chance to prove how useful we are than those Stamies. And they'll finally want a picture of us when they see how strong we are, oozed Arry. Soon, the Diesels coupled to the heavy cars and were on their way. Thomas and Toby stood in suspicion. They're in for trouble, whispered Thomas to Toby. Meanwhile, Emily was steaming along the countryside, taking the train of tourists who enjoyed the scenery. Emily loved taking the train, but she was very shy of the train spotters. Stay calm, girl, comforted her driver. Don't let them get to you. Emily felt a little better then. Just then, her driver applied the brakes. The guard was waving a red flag. What's the matter? Asked Emily. The guard sighed. Ask them. Up ahead, Diesel, Arry, and Bert were struggling. Diesel's axles, due to the stress of the freight cars, have broken. He couldn't pull the train by himself. Neither could Arry and Bert, who strained with all their might. I told you, Diesel, your engine would give out soon, grumbled his driver. Diesel looked very shamefaced. The guard sighed. I just don't know what to do with this train or how we're going to get it to the mainland. Then Emily spoke up. I'll help the Diesels. Her driver and fireman were concerned. Are you sure you can do it, Emily? They asked. It'll be tricky to push 3 Diesels while also pushing a heavy train, suggested Emily. But I'll still carry on and get both trains their destination. Her driver and fireman were impressed. Soon Emily buffered up and started to push, but she couldn't. The Diesels howled with laughter until her driver sanded the rails and Emily gave a good grip. It was then that she started to move the whole train. The train spotters were surprised and cheered her on. Emily was almost out of breath and her pistons were aching, so were her axles, but she kept on puffing and puffing. Soon the entire train began to move at once. Emily was getting very tired. Her joints were worn and her axles creaked, but she still pressed on. She even kept the Diesel silent for the journey. Soon the engines reached the station where Neville was waiting. Sir Topham Hatt stared at the unusual train. Emily was out of breath, so her driver explained the trouble and how Emily had managed to bring both diesels and their trains to the station without feeling tired. Sir Topham Hatt was impressed. He congratulated Emily. Then, to the surprise of both, the passengers got out and started taking Emily's picture. Emily was again nervous, but proud at the same time. "And I'll be having an award with those three later," Sir Topham Hatt said, pointing to the diesels. They felt defeated. "All of this for a picture has been photobombed," grumbled Diesel. "Nobody likes us diesels for at least trying," sighed Bert. Then, to the surprise of them, two boys ran up and started taking their pictures. The diesels were surprised and winced. "I've never seen three diesels before handling such a heavy train," remarked a boy. "Yet still being rescued by a steam engine," laughed another. "This'll go really in my collection." The diesels looked abashed. "Three cheers for Emily, the exciting engine!" cheered everyone. Emily could do nothing except blush.